Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here. I'm a women's health and hormone expert specializing in nutrition for your hormones and your cycle. I do these videos just to educate women more and more on how their bodies function and how they can use their nutrition to feel better regularly. Now, my book, The Female Fat Solution, is a #1 bestseller and a #1 new release, and it's on Amazon. My podcast, The Female Health Solution, is on everywhere podcast. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is just Dr. Beth Westy, which you can subscribe to stay up to date on the newest information that I have coming out. Today I'm doing a video on Pmdd, and I'm going to talk about what it is and what it stands for, everything. So it stands for premenstrual dysphoria, right? So most people think it's not PMS, right? We're not talking about, let me just write it in here. It is not just PMS. It is a very dysfunctional PMS, right? It's like PMS on steroids. Oops, I meant this is an S. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Now, when we look at PMDD, a lot of women don't understand, oh my gosh, this is something that can happen to me. Yep, even if it didn't happen before. Even if you didn't have really bad PMS as a teenager and all of a sudden you get into your mid-20s or 30s or whatever, or 40s, you can all of a sudden have PMDD. You can have these horrible, horrible cycles. So I'm going to talk about when this normally happens for women, or when you should be aware of this, right? They call it the danger zone, that type of a thing. Another thing that's really frustrating about PMDD is that there's not a ton of great information out there for women. But what I do in terms of eating for your hormones and cycle, and what I teach women to do, is super helpful in terms of decreasing a lot of the PMS symptoms that you may be experiencing. And there's women that I work with that have had PMDD, and they notice an improvement as well. Now, the only way is this going to work for you if you have PMDD, or if you think you might. Hard to say for sure, right? Only thing you can do is try, and it's not going to hurt, right? Adding in healthier foods that match with your hormones and where they should be, it's not going to hurt anything. So when we look at PMDD and when you're most susceptible, it's actually during some of the toughest phases of your hormonal cycle. So it's going to be like this last week of your period here, and even into during your period. Like, that's the PMDD phase, right? And you're thinking, oh, well, isn't that just like PMS? Yeah. But this is, your hormones are so intense that they cause like horrific cramping. You can't get out of bed. And then the other component of it that often signifies it is PMDD versus PMS is that it comes along with a lot of different symptoms in terms of you get a lot of anxiety or depression, or there's other emotional or thought process things that are different than they are the other times of the month. So that's the other thing, migraines. So much worse than PMS. Yes, Lisa. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So that's the big thing that really sets it apart in terms of, is it just PMS, or is it just bad PMS, or is it really classified as PMDD? And this is something like you can't control this. This is just comes out of nowhere and it hits you like a truck. You wake up and you're like, holy crap, what? And then the other tough part about it in terms of it changes your brain chemistry, right? Because you're having all these thoughts, these feelings, these emotions that are happening, right? That's not normal for you. Well, think about it. Estrogen and progesterone here, estrogen is in the blue, progesterone is in the red. They cross the blood-brain barrier. So of course, this is going to be, something that affects you. Yes, Lisa, excellent question. Also, it's not just 1 month of it, right? This is something that is chronic for you. This will happen again and again and again. So, and again, like I said, some women will notice that they have this, or they'll be like, no, I just have PMS or something, or I didn't have this before when I was younger. No, it can onset for you later in your life. And then it becomes chronic. You can be suffering for this for a year, 2 years, 4 years, something like that. The tough thing about it is that it's not super, super common. And a lot of women don't even know about it, that it could be an option, right? So a lot of women suffer with their, PMS symptoms, their issues, and they're thinking that this is just normal for them. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. This is not normal. What happened to you after having kids? Yes. Yeah, and you can have other painful things happen in your system, like migraines, like headaches, that occur at the same time. Absolutely. So PMDD, again, differentiating it, it's not PMS. It's like horrific PMS. that onsets. And for some women that I work with, it actually feels like it's happening for like half of the month. Like half of the entire month. Your body gets taken over by some alien substance. And it's not you. It's not you. You feel crazy in your body, but you're trapped. And then you wake up every day and your hormones are just off and you feel like you're crawling out of your skin with it, right? The other thing with this PMDD that a lot of women don't understand, because your hormones are so off and because it's so impactful, like head to toe, systemic, is that it can throw off your fertility. It can cause you to gain weight, and it can prevent you from losing weight too. There's a lot of other health areas that can really be tough to move on from this. So I'm going to put a link below this video. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and schedule a call with me. I'm also doing another webinar on fertility. So I'm going to put a link below. If you also would like a free resource, it's a download, supplements for fertility. You can download that free resource and then get put on the list for my next upcoming webinar. But these are the things with PMDD. It's hard to say this is exactly what it is, because for a lot of women it presents differently. You may have 3 out of the top 5 symptoms, and somebody else may have a different 3 out of the top 5, right? It's so varied. But again, it's one of those things that when it hits you, and it's like it takes you down and out, and you're so different. And then it feels like, oh, now my period started, and a few days after that, and then I'm back to normal. I'm back to me again, right? A lot of times they don't even know what it is exactly or how to deal with it. But they know that once your hormones are regulated and functioning better, that it does help. It does ease up on these symptoms. All right, I've got some comments come in. I'm going to go back and make sure I read that. Lisa, I love that. It isn't normal. No, it's not normal. Just because it's common for you and it happens a lot doesn't mean it's your normal. It doesn't have to be your normal. There's a lot of things you can do with your food, with your nutrition, with your health overall to improve things like this. I help women with this every single day. Our culture and medical community have thought that this is just the way it is. Yes, you have more significant PMS. Oh, sucks to be you, right? Yeah, no, don't settle. Don't settle with your health. That's what I always tell women. Don't settle, right? If you feel it in your bones that there's another answer out there for you, go after it, right? Go after it. If you didn't have things like this before, this was like, I had horrible ovarian cysts. Didn't have them before I had kids, had them after I had kids, right? And that's what led me down this whole path of women's health, where I was like, I'm not gonna put up with this garbage that I feel like I'm being fed, right? I know that there's more I can do for my health on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, right? Which is how I got to doing the work that I do now. Gina's saying, when you feel good, you literally notice and think, oh, wow, I'm not in any menstrual pain today. This is amazing. Yes, right? Yeah, you're like, oh, look, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And then you ovulate and you're like slowly going downhill, and then boom, it just hits you. And then it's like you can't get out of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. PMDD is really, really tough. All your kids were born via IVF. Yeah, totally. Do you think some of the PMDD is caused by infertility drugs or other side effects? Ooh, Lisa, that's a great question. So essentially the only way you could say absolute yes to that is if you had before and after data, everything, right? But the other thing is that, everybody calls it like the practice of medicine, that type of thing, because it is a practice, right? Nothing is ever set in stone. Things change all the time. And it really comes down to the individual, right? So a lot of women, if they have hormonal issues before and then they have kids, what I have seen is that their hormonal issues are worsened. You know what I mean? It's that type of a thing. Yeah. So having something before it can be worsened by having kids, and I work with women in the realm of weight loss all the time. Oh, I was doing okay before, and then I had kids, and then for some reason my hormones got all messed up, and now I can't lose this weight, or I went through menopause, and now my body is doing this thing that it never did before. I don't understand. What the heck? And it's like, well, there you go. That's the thing, is that your hormones are a driver in so many things. Now, of course, how do you deal with that? Do you have to, eat healthy? Yes. Exercise? Yes. But when you wake up and you feel like you can't get out of bed because you're in so much pain, well, and then of course, too, if you're in a lot of pain, you're not going to mentally feel great, right? So for people to say you have a lot of anxiety, yeah, because you feel like your uterus is on fire. Yeah. I wouldn't be a happy camper either. Seriously. Sorry, I'm going to start sweating. I get so worked up about this. So, but this is the type of thing where it's like, there's a lot you can do, but when you're in that moment, how do you deal with it? It's not just one thing, right? That's another question I get a lot from women is, what do I do, or what's something I can take? And it's like, you know what? There's a lot of things that you got to do. There's a lot of things to work with. The main thing that I talk to women about is really aligning your nutrition with your hormonal cycle to support that regular ebb and flow, and to support your body processing through and metabolizing the excess hormones properly so it doesn't get built up and have these negative effects in your system. Otherwise, you just keep repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. That's the tough thing there. Really anxious about potential side effects long term. Yes, I know, right? That's the other thing too with Pmdd or with hormonal issues. For example, there are women who, if they go through menopause really early in their life, like say 35, and they have this hormonal issue, estrogen is really important, and it's responsible for helping your bones be strong in your body. So you can actually have early onset osteoporosis. This is a thing, you know? So your hormones are very, very important, hence serve a very specific purpose for your body. But to have them out of whack like this, I mean, it's just sort of the phrase that I'll use, out of whack. That's not a technical term by any means, right? And then to have these horrific things on set, Pmdd, it is really, really tough to come back from this. You know, it takes work. But that doesn't mean that you can't change it. That doesn't mean that you're a lost cause by any means, right? By going through resetting your body's hormones, by matching your nutrition with supporting where they should ebb and flow, it's incredible how different your body can feel and how you can help your body be more regular, and you can anticipate these shifts and changes before they get really, really bad. So this is the first discussion that I've had. I want to just do a quick overview on this, on Pmdd, that yes, it can affect your fertility, it can affect your overall health, it can affect your ability to lose weight, right? And to keep and maintain that weight loss. It can affect your sleep, right? It can affect your moods, your energy level, your muscle mass. All of these things can be affected, absolutely. So this is just the introduction video that I have for this. I got a ton of questions on this, so I wanted to address it. But please, if there is something more specific that you have questions on, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because it's really tough to look for information out there because there isn't a lot of good information. There really isn't. And for a lot of women, it's a very frustrating place to be when you're like, hello, I'm looking for something to help, right? And there's not a lot of things out there. So that's why I wanted to do this video on this and talk about, yes, it's related to fertility. Yes, it's related to health. Yes, it's related to weight loss, all of this. Lisa, thank you for bringing this topic to the forefront. Yes, Lisa, right? See, I'm yelling now because I get so excited. We need more of this. And yes, you need to be your own advocate. You absolutely need to be your own advocate. Absolutely. If you notice something being off and changing, even if it changes slowly over time, if you're like, 2 years ago, I don't remember it being this bad, then that's a sign to you. This isn't normal. Just because it's become common for you doesn't mean it's normal. If you feel like there's something off in your body, listen to that, right? You know you best, and you know if all of a sudden you start living in a body where you're like, this isn't me. And there are steps you can take to change that, to shift that for you. So again, like I said, I'll put this link below. Schedule a call with me if you have questions, if you need direction in anywhere that you're going. And then I'll also put that free resource guide for you guys to grab. Then you can get on my list to get notified when I do my next webinar. I've got a lot of really great content coming up. My podcast, I've got amazing podcast interviews that are being released as well. So I chat with amazing humans that are so smart, and my goal is just to get this information out to women so you can have more knowledge to be your own advocate better, right? But again, if you need help navigating, that's what I'm here for. I love doing it. So go ahead, click that link, schedule a call, take that first step. Don't settle anymore. Don't push it to the back burner. Take care of you today and click that link. All right, so that's what I got today. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and let me know if you have any more questions. Bye.